Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of A Little Passionate. I'm your host, Brittany, and today's episode is extra special because I have a very special guest, and that is my husband, Britnell. Yes, you heard that right. We are mostly called the Brits, not because we're British, although I wish that we were, but because he's Britnell, and I'm Brittany, and yes, we have known each other our entire lives. I promise our parents did not plan this, it just totally turned out that way, which makes me love my name all the more. But anyway, yay, I'm so glad you're here, Britnell. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And I don't know why, but I honestly am probably the most nervous I have ever been doing an interview so far, and I don't know. This is going to be fun, though.
She can't stop smiling for those listening at home.
So, we have a really fun episode coming up where we're going to be talking about something that we're both very passionate about, which is concerts.
Oh, yeah. I love a good concert.
But before we do that, we're going to play a quick game about Halloween candy because Halloween is coming up.
Yes.
So, we're going to play a game called Toss or Keep, Halloween Candy Edition. So whenever I give you like a candy, which think about it like this way: say you're going trick or treating or something, or we're taking our candy from our nieces and nephews.
For sure.
And we get to toss it or keep it. So I'm gonna go through a bunch of different types of candy, and you can just tell me toss or keep.
Deal.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna start with candy corn.
Keep.
Same. Caramel apple sucker.
Definitely keep.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Tootsie Roll.
Overrated. Toss.
Agree. Although, I like the vanilla flavored Tootsie Roll.
They're not bad.
Yeah. Whoppers.
Keep.
Reese's.
Always keep.
For me, yes, I love Reese's, but I like the shapes the most.
Oh yeah, you like the chocolate to peanut butter ratio better than a normal Reese's cup.
Yeah, and I like to buy now, which is amazing. They have like bags that are just the shapes. So we get those for Christmas and Halloween. And it's my favorite.
And they last you a few months.
Yeah. Okay, Skittles.
Ooh. Keep.
Kit Kat.
Toss. I'm not a Kit Kat guy.
I only like the strawberry, like dark chocolate ones because they're delicious.
You're welcome.
Starburst.
Toss.
What?
Yeah, I kind of burn out on Starburst myself.
Oh, not me. Especially the pink. Okay, sour gummy worms.
Keep.
Airheads.
Keep.
Ew, no.
I knew this would be divisive.
No, M&M's.
Toss.
What?
I hate M&M's. You know that?
Like, I just don't see how. I love M&M's. Like, they're probably my favorite right now. Especially I like the s'mores one.
You're welcome again.
Some people, they've said that, like, they can't stand the s'mores one. I love them. Okay, last but not least, Twizzlers.
Toss.
Absolutely not. Except I love the pull and peel variety. That is my absolute favorite.
Yeah. Well, most of the candies you like, I don't. Most of the ones I like, you don't. So.
True. I try to pick, like, you know, what would come, like, in a variety bag of Halloween candy.
For sure.
So that was fun.
Let me ask you this. Almond Joy. Toss or keep?
Toss.
See,
Absolutely not.
I keep that because I like coconut.
I know. I'm not a fan. Okay, so I have to ask you, because I've asked everybody, but what are you loving right now?
Well, as of last night, it would probably be Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah.
It's the new Mario game. If you don't play video games, we can't be friends. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it right now.
It is a lot of fun.
It's weird. I like it.
I like it because in this game, you can choose whatever character you want, even if you've already, like, started a world.
Yeah, you can change characters at any point, and then for those of you with youngsters in your family or people who are just flat terrible at video games, there are character options that are impervious to damage, so they can't die.
And they can't transform.
Yeah, but now you're giving stuff away.
No, I'm not. People, if they want Wonder, they're going to find out what Wonder is. Or they've already seen the trailer.
It's true. Mario turns into an elephant. We'll give it away.
Yeah.
I know it sounds absurd.
but it's real. It's wonder. It's a world of wonder, Mario edition.
Yeah.
So we're really into Super Mario right now. We literally just made a Super Mario coming out of a pipe for our pumpkin decorating fundraiser at church.
Yeah. Yeah, and we decided to do that before we even decided to get the game, and then we got the game, and then now it just feels more special.
I know. It's awesome. Okay, so on to concerts.
Concerts.
A hard transition, but here we are.
Hey, I like it.
Well, we talked a lot about, like, obviously I wanted to interview you, but I was having a hard time trying to think about what to interview you on.
Because I like everything.
Yeah, and I really do too. And there's so many things that we both enjoy doing together.
Yeah.
But concerts was one of those things that I talked about in my first episode. So if you have not heard my first episode, then you need to go back and listen to it, because I talk about a lot of things that we enjoy doing together, some things that we enjoy doing separate. But concerts has definitely been like a linchpin, I would say, in our relationship.
Oh, yeah. No, I think even just from a very young age, when we were kind of forming our tastes and our ideals and who we were, I feel like going to concerts really helped shape that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember, honestly, now, we could go very far back into, like, just us as individuals, but I want to go back to whenever we were, like, well, I think I was 13 years old. Around that time, because I remember this because I remember what I wore to this concert that we're going to talk about. But I remember when I went to, well, first of all, too, like some of our stuff we call show. So if you hear us refer to it as a show, that's the same thing as a concert. But what I would say is a show that I went to with you and your brothers.
Yeah, and there's no real difference between a show and a concert. The way we like to explain it is if you're going to a concert, it's a really big artist or it's in a big arena or something like that. But if you go to a show, it's usually tight, cramped, and uncomfortable and perfect in every way.
Yeah, which, like, we prefer.
Yeah.
But at this show that I went to with you, it was with you and your brothers, and my Uncle Jeremy came too. And I remember this because it was cold enough that I had to wear my Abercrombie, like, that beige jacket, the corduroy one, with the fur on the
Yeah, dressed
collar.
like a... We'll get to what kind of show it was. Brittany was fully prepped out. Like, she was a preppy kid at this point.
And I had, like, the potato shoes that are really popular again.
Birkenstocks?
Well, they weren't, because I couldn't afford real ones, but they were stocks.
When you say potatoes, they were made from potatoes.
Oh, yeah, no. But anyway, so I remember, because I had that's when I had really long hair, and I wore a headband every single day. And I was really excited because my grandma had said I could go to this with you guys, but I don't think she may have realized exactly what...
When you're with the Sarton boys, everything's safe.
Yeah, that is, well,
That's a lie.
Yeah, but that's what she would always say, or at least think. So I remember because we went to the square in Fayetteville whenever they had the lights all lit up for, like, Christmas. And then we went to Taco Bell. And I specifically remember this because you gave me a sauce packet that said...
At the age of 12...
That said...
Will you marry me?
And I kept it.
Yes.
For the longest time. And so then we went to said show at the music hall. RIP. But that's where all the shows, like, took place for a long time.
Yeah, and to be clear, the music hall is... nothing special.
No.
It's nothing glorious.
I mean, it's not even anything anymore.
Yeah.
Not that,
like,
anyway.
They didn't have good heating and air. There wasn't good bathrooms there.
No.
Sometimes there'd be enough people inside and it'd be cold enough outside that the walls would sweat with condensation.
Yeah, it was gross.
It was nasty.
So at this show, I believe that this was the spoken show.
The spoken show? Yeah, it was a spoken show.
Yeah, but I mean...
I think...
I don't know, but...
Spoken played, the new ending...
I think so.
Maybe the fold.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen Spoken a lot together, so I get them all kind of confused. But I definitely know that this was my first show, like, with you, seeing a band that we, like... really love.
To clarify, Spoken is a heavy band. If you don't listen to heavy music, probably don't want to listen to Spoken. But if you want to give it a shot, you should definitely listen to Spoken. We know the vocalist of Spoken, have known him for years. He writes some great music. Highly recommend it. Good stuff.
Yeah, we love Spoken. Well, we've listened to them for years.
Yeah, I think you'd have to ask Matt. I don't know what year they actually started, but I was probably too young to be allowed to listen to Spoken.
Yeah, I mean, now they're very different from even when they began, which is a good thing. It's not...
Yeah, before they kind of had more of like just it was still heavy. It would have been more in the alternative heavy rock. Now they're borderline metal.
I think, too, like, this was probably a band for me. Now, I also remember seeing, like, Skillet for the first time at, like, Winterfest. I know.
Gosh.
I'm sorry. I had to go there. But, and I say this because I think, like, really for me, like, this is when I'm starting to, like...
Branch out into the alternative world of music.
Yes, because prior to this phase...
Casting Crowns, Mercy Me.
I would not say that. I'm talking about the fact that, like, I used to really love, like, just, like, pop. Or, like, country, rap.
Yeah.
All of that, like, used to absolutely love.
For sure.
But this was kind of me branching out into more... I just saw, like, the vein of going into, like, heavier music was through bands like... Skillet, Spoken, etc.
See, I remember being a kid, and my older brothers, they listened to this stuff. They listened to Spoken because they were friends with the guys in Spoken. And when I was a little kid, like in elementary school, I thought the music was trash. And when I'd go to elementary school and stuff like that in the mornings, like my parents would have on KLRC, that's our local Christian radio, and it was like Casting Crowns, Mercy Me, New Song, For Him, like, because we're talking 90s here too, like,
yeah,
so there's some
true.
of the older stuff. And then, like, the moment I hit middle school, I just turned into a heathen, and I was just like, take me to every single heavy show you can.
I remember we used to really like Pillar a lot.
Oh, Pillar was great.
Yeah. Well, and then too, like, so music hall days, so for me, that was like junior high through high school, really. So during that season, we got to see a lot of, like, heavier bands, because that, like, so when we say a show, that's the type of music that we would see, like, or hear there, I guess.
Anywhere from, like, punk rock to the heaviest of metal.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I saw, we talked about seeing Spoken, but I got to see Under Oath there, which, again, like, if you're into, like, the heavier music scene, is pretty big for that time.
Oh, yeah. But you got a pretty great Under Oath story. Would you like to share?
Yeah. Now, please don't judge me for this story, listeners.
You've been judged. It's okay.
But this is a pretty awesome story. I was in high school when this happened, and I went to go see Under Oath with some of my friends from school, and we were hanging out outside of the music hall before the show had started, and already, like, now, I say the show started. I'm talking about, like, when Under Oath played. There was, of course, like, opener bands, but, whatever. We were kind of, like, in and out. So, we were outside, and I don't know why they did this, but their bus was literally, like, parked beside the music hall, like, where the entrance is.
In the front?
I mean, it would technically be the front, but if you're...
I didn't go that night, so I don't know.
If you're looking at the building, it's beside it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's literally parked right there. I don't know why they did this, but I am outside with my friend, and I see some pants hanging off the mirror of said bus. And I will say this, I actually walked onto the bus with my friend. We didn't make it, like, all the way in, but, I mean, enough to, like, peek our head in and say hi. Well, then, as that's happening, I went on a whim, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, it would be hilarious if I took these pants. And so I did.
Probably the only time in the entirety of your life you've ever done anything crazy like that.
Yes. I'm not an adventurous person by any means, and nor am I a stealer or thief.
A stealer. Brittany plays football now.
But so I take these pants and I run with my friend, and let me just tell you that while yes, this is hilarious, the reality sinks in that these pants are disgusting. They smell horrible. I had no intention of keeping them, to be honest. Like, I just thought it'd be funny. So, where do we put them? We put them in the bushes at Hunan Manor.
The Chinese restaurant next door.
Yeah. And then we go, like, across the street to go eat somewhere. We come back, and the pants are gone. And I don't really know what transpires after that, who got them, what ended up happening. I don't know, but then so whenever we see under oath, Timmy is the person that I stole the pants from. He made a comment about it from the stage. And so, yeah, that is my crazy under oath story about stealing Timmy's pants. And Timmy, I am so sorry.
Well, the reality is, too, the reason they're probably disgusting is I could just about 100% guarantee you those were his show pants he wore every night.
Yeah, and no, they're so gross. And I don't know what I was thinking, but, it is a funny story to tell. So that was one of my, probably, craziest, I would say, stories from, the music hall days. For me, they're probably the biggest band that I got to see there, but you've gotten to see some that I haven't been able to before.
I saw Haste the Day.
Yeah, that's who I wish I would have seen.
They weren't quite as big as Under Oath, but they were big for being at the music hall.
Yeah, well, then we saw The Wedding a lot because, they're from here.
Yeah.
And they were kind of they were rising up, in the scene, I guess, is the way to describe that.
Their stuff's on Spotify. You can go listen to it. It's quality. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so we, grew up listening to them, when they came out. And, so I'm kind of really jealous that you saw Haste Today because I would have loved to see them.
So, we do the dingy shows, right? We do all this small stuff. In reality, I end up in my own band at one point. I've played shows now with Spoken in a lot of these smaller places. I remember one night I played at a show in Springdale, Arkansas, and Spoken was headlining at another show in Fayetteville. So when we got done headlining over here, their show didn't start till way later. So then I went and hung out with them one town over. Yeah, and I remember too another area that we were able to have shows at for a little while was at the Pontiac. Yeah. That's where I played more.
Yeah, and it was a small coffee shop, but they had a spot where you could see bands play.
They had a garage in the back that they converted into a venue, and Spoken played there as well. Other local bands like Overseer and The Wedding, Take It Back.
Yeah.
Any of the local people
they know exactly who we're talking about.
Let's see, Before His Throne.
Yeah.
That was also entering the era when all the metal bands, their names were 5 sentences long.
Yeah. So Britnell went through a season where he was in a few different metal bands.
Yeah. Well, it was the same one, but there was just some member changes. I started out the drummer.
Yeah, but you were in Blood for the Broken, and then that became...
Blood for the Broken became Return to Reason. Like I said, 5 sentences. And so I went from being the drummer to being the vocalist. So when you think metal and you think of the dudes that can growl and scream and all that stuff, I can do that.
Yeah.
Which was fun because we'd play shows with Spoken, and then Matt from Spoken would hand me the microphone while I was in the crowd, and I got to do parts of songs here and there.
I think it's cool because we've gotten to see Spoken in some different venues, not just around here, but we've seen them in Joplin, in Springfield. We've seen them, well, of course, here, but I don't know. It's been really cool to kind of just follow them around and see them in different places. Oh, remember when we saw Memphis Mayfire? That was a really cool show. That was in Fayetteville. That was at George's. That was cool.
That one's not quite as dingy or small as the music hall. That room could probably hold maybe 700 people tight. I mean, all standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that one was really good. I was surprised that you were able to see anything at all, because we're standing in the absolute middle of the crowd, and it is standing room only. And so for Brittany, when we go to these places and they're tight like that, if she either has to like be in the very back so she can just kind of see from a distance, or immediately at the front by the stage. Because otherwise, like, she's, like, peering under people and around people and all that good stuff.
Yeah. We've had a few instances, like, when we've gone to either even a concert or a show, like, where we've had to move. Because I remember the first time that we saw Need to Breathe. It was at the Amp. We've seen them a lot. I mean, honestly, I would say, like, next to Spoken, we've seen Need to Breathe.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, I mean, definitely over 5 times.
And Need to Breathe, not metal. Just so people understand. Like,
yeah, so now we're entering another phase of music.
We listen to a pretty wide variety.
Yeah, we like all kinds of music, and we just enjoy, like, all genres, really. But Need to Breathe is a band that, and honestly, part of me, I don't remember, did I win tickets to this, or did we buy tickets? I can't remember.
I think we bought seats.
Yes, this is...
And they were kind of off to the side.
And I could not see. Now, this is also, like, kind of earlier in the Amp being in the location that it's in now. So, for people who, are from around here, you might remember that the Amp used to be in the parking lot of the Fayetteville Mall.
Which we saw David Crowder there.
We did. I've seen David Crowder, I think, 4 times, because I saw him there. I've seen him at Winterfest. I saw him in Little Rock, like in their downtown River Park area.
And then a women's conference.
And then the women's conference recently, which, I'll have to tell that story later. But back to this story of Need to Breathe. So we're at the Amp for the first time seeing them. And like Britnell said, I'm kind of like off to the side under the pavilion. But because of the positioning of the seats and the people around us, I could barely see anything. And it just did not make for a good experience for me. So then I said to Britnell, well, why don't we go up to the lawn? Which he was a little bit frustrated at first because he's like, we spent money.
Yeah, I paid good money for those seats.
Yeah.
I could see just fine.
Yeah, well, I couldn't. So we went to the lawn, and what was really cool is that night, the vocalist... he actually ended up coming out in the lawn. Like, we could see them putting together like a miniature stage in the middle of the set.
Which is like where we were.
Yes, exactly where we were. So, it's actually a good thing that we moved to the lawn.
That's actually not the first time we've had to move seats when seeing Need to Breathe.
I know.
Because we went and saw them in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And this was during their acoustic tour. So they had minimal electric instruments. I think everything ran acoustically. And the theater we were in just had poor visibility for Brittany. And so while they're playing, I just start walking around the whole place till I find somewhere up on the balcony where there's 2 seats available. And there was a very nice couple that let us hang out with them and sit there. So
yeah, that was really cool and very nice.
Yeah,
because I was hating my life because I could not see, and we weren't expecting it to be like that. Like, I wasn't expecting to not be able to see anything.
Yeah,
it just kind of, when you're as short as I am. I mean, it's kind of a given that if someone stands in front of you, you're not going to be able to see. But I've usually been able to, like, find my way around it.
Yeah.
But
well, and the pitch there on the floor, like, the slant wasn't as steep. So any average person standing in front of you, they're going to block your view. So typically for us, like, it's better if we go somewhere, like it's good arena seating. Even like the lawn at the Amp, like there's a pretty good slant there, so you can still see over people. But that's what we have to be mindful of when we go to these places. Or we fork out the big bucks and stand right at the front, which we never fork out the big bucks and stand right at the front.
Yeah, so the thing about the lawn I like too is that there's just like space to dance, because when I go to concerts, I move a lot.
Well, bringing that up then, not the last time we saw Need to Breathe. The last time we saw Need to Breathe, we saw them with who? One Republic?
Yes. Yeah.
So the time before
That's true.
we wised up, and we've only been buying lawn tickets so Brittany can see and dance. And they headlined Switchfoot Open that night, and there were some people working at the amp that night that knew Brittany from a previous job, and they gave us pit tickets.
It was incredible. I'm pretty sure I cried. But that week was a really incredible week because that same week we went and saw Jonas Brothers. Not that Britnell remotely cares.
No, I don't.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
But yeah, for you, it was great.
I had a blast, and it was so fun. Now, that show was very packed. Like, there were so many people like me, you know, who obviously have grown up and are, you know, now like in their 30s, and they're like reliving, you know, their younger selves being obsessed with like the Jonas Brothers, and the Jonas Brothers made like a huge comeback and stuff. So that one was really fun. And then that same week, you know, the Need to Breathe Switchfoot concert happened, and whenever I found out that we could get pit tickets, I just like lost my mind. And it was so funny because honestly, in the pit, the people that we were surrounded by were really there for Switchfoot. And some people were like, I've never even heard of Need to Breathe. I was like, oh, just you wait.
I don't even understand that sentence.
I don't either. Now, I grew up on Switchfoot. Like, I literally remember my dad buying me, like, the, you know, not the DVD, the CD, like the Beautiful Letdown CD.
Yeah.
I remember getting that. I remember, like, blasting it in my room. But, and that's, you know, it's funny because, like, I remember back then you thought, like, you were edgy. Like,
oh, if you listen to Switchfoot.
yeah. And then I started listening to a lot heavier music than that, but.
Yeah. But, even with Switchfoot, fun segue there, when you were in college, you actually.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewed Switchfoot.
I did. So Switchfoot came to play at the college that I went to at John Brown University, and they played with Amberlyn, which was really cool. Amberlyn was incredible. I really, really liked them a lot, and I got the opportunity before the show to interview Switchfoot, which was really cool. And back then, I really wanted to be a reporter who focused on not just like entertainment, but specifically like interviewing bands. So that was like a really big deal for me, and that was really cool. I had a blast. I loved it so much, and it was a really fun interview. So yeah, I've had some neat experiences, I guess. That I don't know. I would
ties back to music.
It really does. And for us, like, so much of our relationship is so tied around music because it's something that we both really love. And it really goes back to just that first time that we went to go see Spoken together. I mean, I know that you've probably seen them before then, but for me, that was like the first time that I got to go to a show like that and like get to go with you.
Well, before shows like that, before individuality, we'll say, which even then I was just tagging along with my brothers. But I would go to like a Christian concert with my parents. I think you asked me the other day, like, who's the first person I saw in concert? And I was like, it was probably Carmen. That may not be true. I think it was New Song.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Part of me secretly wishes it was Carmen because that's how you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you know you've arrived. But yeah, getting to kind of find my own lane through going to some of these smaller, dingier shows, which in part me growing up in a musical family and doing that led to my musicianship, which you had this weird world of I played church music and was in a metal band, so fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing for you, too, like when you're going to a show, for you, like you're thinking about the musicality of it all.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, you're just there to have fun. There's a weird part of me that when I go to these concerts, especially when I go to see like a heavy band, like there's a part of me that kind of wishes I was still doing that. There's a part of me that, I just want to be on stage with them. But that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. Like, I'm just sitting there sulking like, oh, this really sucks because I'm not the one playing that. If I were a better musician, I probably would be the one up there playing it. But, no, for me, I get to enjoy it for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I pay a lot of attention to drummers. Everybody pays attention to the vocalist of a band because they're like, oh, they sound so great. As someone who's not a vocalist, that might usually be the last thing I pay attention to. Whereas everybody else is typically just in awe or enamored by someone who can sing well. And to be very clear, if I went to a concert and it was a bad vocalist, it would be distracting for me, and I wouldn't enjoy it. But it all works together, and that's the fun part for me, is just noticing how maybe this guy hangs back a little bit, or while this person steps forward and hits a solo, or maybe the drummer is going off, but you never know.
Yeah, because I think for us, too, what really got us into Need to Breathe was their musicality.
Yeah.
Just their insane amount of skill.
Yeah.
Because we had never seen, we weren't even really into their music whenever we got tickets to see them. I don't even honestly know what drew me to go see them the first time.
No.
And then I fell in love.
I bought the tickets, but I don't remember why.
Yeah, because I don't think it was like the opener, because it was like Ben Rector or something like that. Not really our thing, but it just, every time we saw them, it just got better and better, and they really just are incredible. And that moment when we got to see them with Switchfoot was really cool, because I loved that show. They had like bubbles, they had confetti. So like for me, when I'm going to a show, a lot of the things that I focus on are more production, and then I'm just there to have a good time. So I am like just dancing and jumping up and down. I'm not a person that ever sits at a concert or a show. That's not me at all. I can't stand it.
It's usually not an option at a show.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, that is absolutely true. We've been in some crowds that are really crazy.
Well, to put it in perspective, so we go to this Need to Breathe concert. We're in the pit, right?
Yeah.
You're dancing. You're having a good time. There's bubbles. There's confetti. You're totally safe.
Yeah.
There's no question of your safety at all, right? Later on that year, or earlier that year, or even earlier this year, we go to Tulsa. We see a band called Bill Murray. It's not spelled like the actor. Figure it out on your own. And there, your safety is very much in question.
Yeah.
Because it's metal. And so when we'd go to see them, we'd stand right at the front edge of the stage, and Brittany would stand in front of me, and I would essentially use myself as a barricade.
A human shield.
Because people mosh.
Yeah.
And they mosh hard. I mean, I've been punched in the back of the head I don't know how many times. And it's not something that you just get mad about and start, like, trying to fight people over. They are, as they say in the old days, slam dancing. So.
Yeah, they're just, like, responding to the music, which is funny because not really even all this stuff is like that, but...
No, in fact, at the Bill Murray concert, he does what's called a wall of death.
Yeah.
To probably one of his softest songs. And so what happens in a wall of death is they split the crowd in two, and then everybody runs at each other like the Red Sea closing on the Egyptians.
I'm not a part of that.
No, we stay put, and we stay safe.
And I just enjoy the music because I like it. I really love Bill Murray. You do too. We've seen him twice.
Yeah.
And we got to take friends along for the second time to experience Bill Murray.
Because they'd never gone to what we call
a show.
They've only gone to concerts.
Yes.
They see big artists. They go to arenas, stuff like that, which is great. We're down for it. I'm sure there's some bucket list artists. Brittany's seen Garth in a football stadium.
Yes.
You couldn't pay me to go see Garth.
You would have hated it also because I had to walk up like a whole big like flight of bleachers, like almost to the tippy top at the Razorback Stadium to be able to see Garth. And there was not like an empty seat. Every single seat was filled. In fact, the show was delayed because traffic was like at a standstill. So they delayed the show by over an hour, and it was hot. It was in April. And what was funny about that is that, well, I went with my sister, and then my sister-in-law Amanda went with her sisters, and they sat directly across the stadium from where we sat, so I could literally see the top of her hair, like her bun, and I was waving at her because I could see her from across the stadium. But it was packed. Like, I've never seen it before.
While you were doing that, I was having so much more fun playing Nintendo with my brother.
There you go.
No, but I knew you loved Garth.
And was a bucket list item. I literally remember whenever I was a child having his poster above my bed.
Yeah. And that was one I was happy to miss out on, so you could enjoy it with your sister.
Yeah, we loved it. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun. That really is like one of my, I would say, like top 5 like concert memories.
Yeah.
It's up there.
I mean, I'm about to hit a bucket list one in a month.
Yes.
So I'm going to go see August Burns Red. They're as heavy as you can get. So again, if this isn't your flavor, I'm sorry. Now, I've always been told they have like the best drummer ever. So I'm super excited for it. I've paid for a ticket for Brittany to go with me. But we're up in the air whether or not I might give this to a friend. Sort of like how I let her go enjoy Garth with her sister. She's going to let me go enjoy this with my brother and somebody else.
Yes.
By choosing.
Well, mostly because I don't know if I want to deal with the crowd.
Yeah, and you aren't that big of an
No, I'm really not. And for me, like, especially the second time we saw Bill Murray, we were, absolute front. There wasn't even, like, anyone in front of me. I was the absolute front. And I got to get his set list at the end of the show, which was awesome. So for me, like, going to a show like that, I prefer to be, like, at the very, very front, or if it's possible, balcony.
Yeah.
And I think if I see Bill Murray again, I want to try the balcony if we go to the same location. But that's like August Burns Red. I've never been to that venue before. You have, because you saw...
Alter Bridge and Seven Dust.
Yeah. Which Brittnell's seen Seven Dust a few times.
Yes.
And you really love them.
Yes.
But you have not gotten to see Alter Bridge before, right?
No, Alter Bridge is basically Creed, but with a much, much better singer. And instead of playing what we call butt rock, they play metal.
Yeah. He sent me some videos. They were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. And then, like, we've seen, I guess, really some bands that, I guess we could talk about bands that surprised us. That we just didn't see coming. Like, we didn't think that we would enjoy them as much as we did.
Who's the like absolute top, like, just blew you away? Most of the time when we're talking about this category, it's an opener that we didn't care about, we weren't there to see them, but it's that pleasant surprise, like somebody else ordered an appetizer and said you could have a bite, and it turned out to be your favorite thing.
I'd say Coin is up there.
Coin was really good. I would see them again. I don't know that they'll be in this area.
But they played with Young the Giant.
Was it Young the Giant?
I think so. I'm pretty certain.
Young the Giant was really good too, though. We were there to see Young the Giant.
Yes, and we really liked them a lot. They were very good. But Coin was just a surprise. But a welcome one.
I see what you did there.
If you listen to Bill Murray, you would know too. You should listen to him, or maybe not. I don't know if you're into that, but you can give it a try.
It's edgy.
It's different. It is a genre that blends other genres.
A little bit of metal, a little bit of pop.
In country.
A little jazz. And most of the time, it's to get a good laugh. Like, it's not overly or overtly serious music. It's just funny.
Who is a band that has surprised you?
I'll give you a surprised and disappointed.
Oh, okay.
We went to the Ant to see 30 Seconds to Mars.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
It was fine, but Walk the Moon opened for them. Walk the Moon was incredible. They should have headlined the show. 30 Seconds to Mars has recently made the decision that they're going to be 21 Pilots as well. So it was just his brother on the drums and him as the vocalist and nobody else on stage. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see the 30 Seconds of Mars 30 Seconds to Mars that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Walk the Moon they were pretty great.
They came out to Africa.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I remember that. That was a really fun, experience. But I remember being, in the lawn, and when Walk the Moon was playing, nobody paid attention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? I'm standing up, dancing, and I'm, looking around, and everybody is just, in their own little world, and they don't care.
I was really shocked by Harbor.
Oh, yeah. We ended up really liking them. They were the opener at Bill Murray the last time we saw them.
So they're kind of almost like indie rock, and they opened for a metal band.
Yeah.
And all we'd ever heard from them was their recordings of indie rock, stuff on Spotify and whatnot. Yeah. We go and see them live, and they hit nearly as hard as the metal band that played after them did. And if you don't know this, anytime you go see somebody live, unless it's overly processed pop music, stuff like that, you're not going to get this. But if you listen to guitar music, stuff that's kind of got some rock tones to it, it's almost always going to be about 5 times heavier live. So if you listen to Need to Breathe and you're like, that's not quite my thing, I like something with a little more oomph, go see them live. It will hit harder.
True.
Every time.
For me, I was really surprised whenever we went to go see Need to Breathe with One Republic.
Yeah.
Because we went for Need to Breathe, quite honestly, because I just wanted another experience to see them, because they're that good. I've seen them a lot. And I remember just getting, lawn tickets for that. And they opened for One Republic.
Yes.
And I remember even then, same thing happened. People that were there to see One Republic. And they didn't care about, Need to Breathe playing or really any of the other openers. And so they're just kind of hanging out. But then I think, once they actually started to hear Need to Breathe, they're kind of started asking some questions about it, people around us were. But I really loved One Republic, and I didn't expect to. I mean, of course, their songs, you hear them on the radio, and I've always liked their songs. I just was not expecting it to be so good.
Yeah, he was really good. He was razor sharp. Now, going back to my comment earlier, I don't care about vocalists. I cared about that vocalist.
He's really good.
Filthy. He's filthy. And he also wrote half of everything.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of their show, is that for, I'd say, about 30 minutes of their show, he took the time to go through and share all the hits that he had written
for
other artists that and you wouldn't even expect it, like Bleeding Love.
I think he wrote something with Beyonce.
He did, yeah.
He did something with Adele. I think he even did something with what's the country artist? Some country artist.
I don't remember.
He's popular right now.
Yeah.
He does the song Life Changes.
Ain't it funny how life... Oh, Thomas Rhett.
There you go.
Yeah.
He helped write some stuff for him.
Yeah, and he would sing them all, and it was just, incredible.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that, and I wasn't expecting that. But it's just been neat, the opportunities that we have to be able to see, some of these artists, even bigger artists that, we didn't never actually intend to see, but we ended up getting to see, which has been really cool.
Yeah. What's the last concert you went to, Brittany?
This is actually very recent. I mean, what was it, last week?
Something like that, week or two.
Yeah, so I got to go see the All-American Rejects, and I was really, really excited. And honestly, this is a band that I was most looking forward to seeing at the Amp this year, because I didn't really like their lineup as much. And this was an opportunity for me to get to see, what I would consider, more of a punk band. Because that is more of the style that I like. I do like
alt punk.
Yeah, I like some metal. I'm not saying I don't like metal, because obviously I like Spoken.
You started liking it more now.
Yes.
Which is weird for me.
That's true. So I was really excited for this one, just because I remember being in junior high and high school and listening to the All-American Rejects a lot. And they played with Newfound Glory. Newfound Glory was their opener. Although I will say I did not enjoy, the sound for Newfound Glory. It's quieter.
We stood in the very back at the Amp on this one. And something that you'll notice too when you go to enough concerts is that they always turn it up for the last act because they want them to be the biggest, the baddest thing that everybody showed up for. And so sometimes when that happens, then you sacrifice the quality of what could be happening on the bands that played prior.
Now, too, like, this show was kind of a, like, spur-of-the-moment situation. It wasn't, no, kind of, it actually was. But I had a friend that works at the AMP who reached out to me, and she happened to get tickets, and it was so funny because I had literally just texted her and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and head that way. We'll just get tickets when we get there. And she was like, well, actually, I have 2 of them. And I was like, oh, my gosh, yes. And so we get there. And like he said, we ended up just like going and standing at the very back so I could see anyway. And the lawn was a lot more packed than I thought it would be. Yeah. It didn't seem like it was when we had parked and everything, but it really ended up being full. And I feel like a lot of the crowd was probably actually there more for Newfound Glory, it seemed like, than All American, but I could be wrong.
All I know is that was another band I would say I was surprised by.
They were really good.
Yeah, they were, as a vocalist, which, that being said, we've also entered an era now where live vocal correction's a thing.
True.
But I don't think I don't think he was really using much, if any, of that. He was a very tight vocalist. Another one that really pleasantly surprised me, but really what I enjoyed overall was just how tight the band was. Like, they grooved really well. It was a good time.
Yeah, he had a lot of charisma and just like was entertaining.
Yeah, the weirder you are on stage, the more fun it is for us.
Yeah, he was pretty strange, but I loved it. I had a great time. Like I literally felt like I was just getting to just experience something I've always wanted to, like, since I was younger. And that was what was so cool, is I just felt like I was like reliving that time. And I loved it. And I think for Britnell, too, you ended up knowing a lot more songs than you thought you would.
Yeah, because they've had stuff in TV shows, movies, things get just played in the background. Like, I've worked retail jobs before, and a lot of their stuff gets played in the radio in the background while you're working. I mean,
yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun. A lot more, like, fun than I thought it would be, and just a lot better than I thought it would be. Yeah. They weren't like washed up. They were on point. They did a very good job. And one of the things that I will say too that we started doing is I follow I think it's setlist.fm. And so you can look up a band that you're going to go see, and you can see past shows that they've played where their songs have been logged. So you can follow along. From
this tour.
Yes, for what their set lists are. So that's what I had pulled up for All American Rejects. So I could say, oh, they're going to be playing this next. Or
well, and that's partly why we didn't go see Fall Out Boy.
Yes.
Because they were only playing like 2 songs that you liked.
I was very disappointed. I mean, not that I didn't get to see him, but I was disappointed in the set list. I was like, it's not really worth it to me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. Some of these concerts, like, you go to for different reasons. Like, if we were going to, like, a worship concert.
Yeah.
I don't care what songs they're playing. I'm not necessarily there for the musicality of it. Do I want it to sound good? Yeah.
Of course.
But I'm there for a different reason.
Yeah. And we've gone to a lot.
Do you remember the first worship concert we went to together? Do you remember who it was?
No.
It was Hillsong Worship.
Oh, we were married. That's the first one we went to together?
Yeah, as a married couple.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, we saw David Crowder together at the Fayetteville AMP when we were dating. But when we were married, that's the first one we went to.
Yeah,
and they played for nearly 4 hours. One band.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was really good. And we got to see Hillsong Young and Free. We've seen them twice, actually. Yes. And I love them. It was so much fun. They're just like very energetic. And they're really good. We've
seen them all. We've seen
Jesus
Culture, Elevation,
Belonging
Bethel, Belonging Co. We haven't technically seen Red Rocks in concert, but we've gone to Red Rocks Church, so I'll count it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see them in concert. I just don't think that they've gotten kind of close, but not, like, exactly. I think the closest they got was somewhere in Missouri, not quite Springfield, but yeah. Yeah, I would love to see them. I mean, and that's so true, because when you go to like a worship concert, which I hate to even call it a concert, because it's just, that's not really what it is, because you're not there to be entertained.
Yeah.
So it is different, but we've gone to a lot of those together, because we've gone to a lot of conferences together too.
Yeah, I think something that I kind of find heartbreaking when, whether I'm going to these worship concerts or a worship service, if you will, compared to going to a secular concert of any kind, what's the big difference you notice between the two? At the worship concert, they put the words up so people can sing along.
We have talked about this, yeah.
You go to a secular concert, everybody knows the words anyways, and they sing along.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad that people don't know the words.
Yeah, let me tell you, when I went to go see Garth, everybody knew every single word. And that was so incredible, because there's thousands of people there, and everybody knows everything.
Well, you just look up how many people can fit in that stadium, and it's probably pushing close to 30K.
And for me, like, that's probably the biggest, like, concert that I have gone to. I mean, I haven't really gone to... I mean, we've gone to see some worship artists at BOK.
Yeah.
And we did see Hillsong United at Bridgestone with Lauren Daigle.
Yeah, we were there for a different conference, and they just happened to be playing across the street.
Yeah.
And so for Brittany and I, if we live a year of our lives and we haven't gone to at least 5 concerts, we failed.
Yeah, but we kind of failed this year. This year was not.
Well, I think it's still going to round up to about 4-ish.
Yeah,
but we've gone to more separately this year.
We have.
Which is sad. We'll change that.
Yeah.
Next year will be different.
Yeah.
I sprung for pit tickets to see Need to Breathe in May. So
really excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Well, that's also because I had said I don't want to experience Need to Breathe again without being in the pit, because it was just so incredible.
Yeah.
Even whenever I went to go see it, David Crowder in Little Rock with some friends, that was kind of a weird seating arrangement. We ended up like moving a few different times, and it was insanely hot. I want to say it was like June or July, and it was so hot that they ended up having like a misting tent outside, and I remember having to go stand in it. I thought I was going to pass out. It was so hot.
Brittany overheats in 75-degree weather.
That is true. I cannot stand being hot, and you know this if you listen to the first episode.
Yeah.
I talk about that too, but yeah, I hate getting hot, and I got very, very hot at this concert, and even in this one, though, I was really surprised. Well, so it was We the Kingdom, which I don't really know much of their stuff, but I loved it because they had a confetti cannon, so they're all right in my book. They did a great job, like musically, very skilled, very talented. I just don't know their songs because I don't listen to them. But Crowder played, because now he's Crowder, just Crowder.
Yeah, not David Crowder.
Yes.
I haven't seen just Crowder.
Yeah, he has not. It is an experience. Now, it is very different from what we know because, again, growing up, he was the David Crowder Band. Now he is just Crowder. I mean, he doesn't really look any different.
Fun fact about Crowder is if you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, that was filmed at his house.
Which is so incredible. I can't even imagine.
Anyways, back to your story.
Oh, you're good. So, seeing him last summer, I think it was last summer, I'm pretty sure it was really cool because I just wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Like,
I mean, he's been playing music for like 30 years.
I know, but for me, I think it was more production. It was like very modern.
Yeah, very
and
modern.
I don't know why I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but it was cool. And he even had a rapper with him.
And you've seen him as David Crowder Band.
Yeah, which is more like worship.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe what he was like before.
It leaned heavily more on worship, whereas now it's kind of almost like hillbilly rock and roll. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know how he describes his music, but it's really good.
Now, didn't you say earlier you had a cool story about that you wanted to share about?
So we saw him again. I say we. It was me and our women's group from church. We got to see him again at a conference called Favored Women in Branson, Missouri, and the whole weekend, there was just different speakers, and he was one of the just musical acts that was going to be there.
Yeah.
So he has his concert. Now, actually, before I get to the concert part, let me tell you that earlier in the day that they had said that they were going to be, like, giving away VIP tickets. And I really wanted them because I thought, oh, this would be incredible. Like, if I got to meet him, it would be so cool. Like, I really wish I could get these VIP tickets. And so the service continues, and they call out who gets the VIP passes, and it is not me. And I'm really bummed out by this. I really wanted to meet him. And I guess really for me, it kind of goes back, like Britnell said, like, we've seen him a few times. Like, we knew him back in the more, like, just worship experiences that we've had. And there was a book that I really loved that he wrote called Praise Habit. I have read this book so many times.
It's kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
Like I think I see it on the shelf.
Yes, it is on the shelf.
We need to get you.
The pages are, like, falling out. They're bent. There's so many highlights in it. It is an incredible book. And I don't even know when I got it. I mean, but I've read it a lot.
Probably that Winterfest he played at.
Probably. And I remember whenever I was in college and I was in graphic design classes and we had to, like, redesign a book cover, and that's the book cover that I chose. And this book means a lot to me, and it has shaped a lot of who I am and what worship means to me and just how to praise. It's an incredible book, and I highly recommend it. But anyway, back to the story. So the story is, I'm at this women's conference. Crowder is playing, and they're incredible. It was a really awesome time. I absolutely loved it. And it was just as good in this setting as it was when I saw them in Little Rock. But then, afterwards, we're heading out. We're going to go get a bite to eat after the service, after this whole concert, too, because it was like a service and then the concert.
Yeah.
So I'm with the girls. We're heading to our car, and we get in, and we're trying to leave, and there's a lot of traffic. And I see a bus, and it is indeed his tour bus. And there are people outside of it. And my sister-in-law, Amanda, who was on my last episode, was like, Brittany, get out there.
The second crazy bus story that Brittany had. First time she was stealing pants, now she's going after him.
Yeah. I am definitely going after him. So there's a girl in the car with me who's my friend from church, Ray, and I say to her, you're coming with me. And so we, like, just jump out of the car. I grab her hand, and we just run around the vehicles, and we get to the tour bus area. And there's already a crowd, but I try to, like, weasel my way through.
Which is easy for you to do as a small person.
Yes. However, I will say this. I have noticed something about me whenever I get around people that I would deem to be, like, famous, quote unquote, or, like, a celebrity. Even if it's, like, somebody off Instagram who is not really a celebrity, but I liken them to a celebrity, I, like, get really scared. And I think that I'm being, like, courageous. So whenever I say, like, I'm weaseling my way through the crowd, I'm actually not. I'm just kind of, like, inching my way forward. And I hear them say, hey, we can't take any more pictures after this. Like, you need to get on the bus. This is his tour manager saying this, I'm assuming. And there was a lady and her family who were taking a picture. My friend is getting, like, a selfie of us with him in the background because that's, like, as close as we want to get. And she's very introverted, too. Yeah. And so, for me, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I am really going after this. But the reality is that I'm actually, like, terrified to say anything. And I don't know what comes over me at this point, but I, like, spin around and I say to him, to David Crowder, I say, hey. And I said, I just want to let you know something really quick. And I told him that I love his book. I didn't say anything about wanting a picture with him or anything about his performance. I said, hey, I just really want to let you know that I love your book, Praise Habit, that it truly is an incredible book. It means a lot to me. I've read it so many times that the pages are falling out, and I just wanted to be able to share that with you. I absolutely love it, and it's changed my life. And he was like, whoa. Like, I don't know that there's been, like, anybody maybe who's even said that to him before. And I have pictures of him just, like, gasping, like, oh, like, grabbing his chest, like, oh my gosh, like, that's really cool. And he had said, like, thank you so much. And it was a really cool encounter. He probably said other things that I can't remember at this point, and it's probably in a journal somewhere. But I was, like, on cloud 9. And afterwards, I grabbed my friend, And we start running back to the car, like weaseling our way through the crowd to get back to where we need to be. And I'm like running and like jumping, and I'm all over I'm like a little jumping bean. I'm all over the place.
Mario.
Yeah, pretty much. And unfortunately, she can't quite keep up, and it's not exactly the safest situation. And she ends up like tripping, and I felt so bad. It was,
You're being such a bad friend.
I know, I really was, and I apologize like a million times, but it was really funny.
Moral of the story, if anybody is listening and has a connection to David Crowder, Brittany would love to interview.
Yes.
If we're talking like bucket list bands we want to see, this would be her bucket list interview. If she could interview David Crowder, so awesome. it would be incredible.
Hook me up.
Yeah, anybody. If you know him.
Yeah.
If you think he might.
I would die.
Just shoot Brittany a DM.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah. And too, like, I just think that'd be incredible. I think it's just neat how these different opportunities have come up, but also that so many of it has been stuff that we've gotten to, like, experience together. And I just think it's funny because when we go to these shows and stuff, we both experience them very differently, but at the end of the day, it's something that we just enjoy doing so much together.
Yeah. I remember, which we don't, usually we'll just take like a selfie now together or something like that, but for the longest time, every show we went to, we would take a before selfie.
Yeah.
Because we showed up at the concert, we were dressed nice, like it's a night out, whatever, even if it was at a worship concert or if it was at like a rock and roll metal or whatever. And then we would take a selfie at the end when we were sweaty and gross and my hair didn't look good.
Yeah. And my face is beet red like a tomato.
Yeah. It could be the middle of winter and Brittany's going to die of heat stroke.
Yeah.
But that's concerts, man.
It is.
mean, and that's just the fun part about it. Just getting to enjoy that with you. That's fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, it's fun to go to concerts with my brother or other friends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather just go with you.
Yeah, I love it. And it's just, we've gotten to create so many like memories together by going like you go to shows that I like, I go to shows like you like, and
yeah, like,
it's been really cool.
You were more of a Need to Breathe fan than I was even when we went. But then we went and we saw them live in that setting. And then we became super fans.
Yes.
And now I try to preach the gospel to everybody. Like, if you have a chance, go see Need to Breathe. Yes. I'm not into that style. Honestly, I'm not either. If you have a chance, go see Need to Breathe. Okay,
so now really fast, I want you to rank. It doesn't have to be, I would just say, like, what are your top 5?
Top 5?
Artists you've seen.
That I've seen. Well, I mean, Need to Breathe, especially getting to see them in the pit with you. For me, I find a lot of enjoyment in life watching Brittany enjoy things. So watching her enjoy Need to Breathe in the pit is just always going to be up there for me. I was really had a great time seeing Alter Bridge and Seven Dust with my brother. That's something special for us because those are just bands we grew up listening to, whether or not we should have been. But I mean,
hey, I still want to see Post Malone, so
I would that bucket list for sure. Yeah, I think anytime getting to do that stuff. Probably the first time I opened for Spoken, and then Matt handed me the microphone down in the crowd. Something like that, like that'll stay with me forever. And oh man, probably the first time we saw Hillsong Young and Free. Just because it was a wild time. It was a wild time.
We took your parents.
We took them the second
forgot.
time. Was it? Or were they the first?
No, we went to Springfield for that one.
And we took my parents.
Yes. We took your parents because it was at the James River Church.
Yeah.
And I remember because the weather was like kind of crappy. And we ended up taking your parents with us.
Yeah.
And it was so wild. And it was so much fun. And they had like bouncy balls and all kinds of stuff like in the crowd. Rend Collective was really cool. I forgot that we saw them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of similar, like, as far as, like, doing, like, fun, interactive, like, things with the crowd.
They would beat on pipes with hammers.
Yeah,
Organ
like,
pipes.
and have, like, all kinds of interesting instruments.
Yeah,
they were really
like,
neat. I just remembered another time I've seen Crowder.
What was that?
With Shane and Shane.
I've never even
You
seen
didn't.
Shane and
I
Shane.
know. I went with my Uncle Jeremy and my Aunt Kim, and I don't know why. I just now thought about that, but I did. Anyway, I think you've only listed 4.
Let's see. I've only, Alter Bridge and Seven Dust.
Yeah, they're
Need to
collective.
Breathe with You.
Yeah.
Spoken. That's only 3.
Then you said Hillsong Young and Free.
The Hillsong Young and Free one, that would be up there just because it was a wild time. Mm-hmm. It was just
their production was cool.
Wild. Bill Murray.
Yeah, I was about to say you have not mentioned Bill Murray yet.
I was saving the best for last.
Yeah, I know.
The vocalist / brainchild behind Bill Murray played in a band called Attack Attack when I was in high school, which is weird because he was also in high school. He's only like a year
Yeah, he's like our age. So he's my age.
Yeah. So the music that he writes now is just it's a good time, and it's silly, it's serious. There's a lot of even the little musical breaks or the weird, like he'll put like a jazz saxophone solo in the middle of it, or like do like country or something like that, and it really just captures my humor. If I play music at church, and I'm on rotation with another one of our leaders that we select the music, so I listen to a lot of worship music. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, more people should listen to a lot of worship music. But when I just want to listen to something that just makes me kind of like smile a little crooked or just snicker a little bit, I'll listen to Bill Murray. It's a good time. I have fun. And so, I think Brittany is surprised that I waited to say Bill Murray because I went to a Bill Murray concert, and not the one we took our friends to because I was worried about keeping everybody safe. But the first time we went to see Bill Murray, I was jumping up and down, screaming and yelling and hollering, just like Brittany would at every other concert she's ever been to.
Yes. Yeah, I've never seen that side of Britnell before, and it was really cool. And that show is... I remember the first time seeing Bill Murray. And I will say, for me, personally, like, that was the best time I've seen him. It's not that I didn't like seeing him the second time. I loved seeing him the second time. But it was just kind of like, the first time that you see Guardians of the Galaxy, there was not another movie like it.
Yeah. He also went to the hospital after our show the second time.
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah.
And that was... yeah, that show. Poor Reese. Every time this dude would get like a guitar solo, he'd miss it.
Well, yeah. So the first time we saw Bill Murray, they play the song and he has people like pull out their phones and pull out their camera or whatever. He made a joke about Minecraft before he played the song. So I opened up Minecraft Pocket Edition on my phone. You can't tell that I play video games. And I hold it there and I stare into the eyes of this dude on guitar. And he's just dying laughing, playing this soft, serious song. Fast forward a year later, we go back. He goes into this same song again. His set list had changed, but they did this song again.
Yes.
He asked people to pull out their phones. I open up Minecraft Pocket Edition, and I'm staring into this guy's eyes, and this time I mess him up. And it is the greatest thing. I was so proud. And which they had good humor about it. This guy's a ridiculous guitarist. I think, for me, the best musicians are the ones that don't take themselves too serious.
Yes, and they are definitely a band that does not.
No.
But they're so fun and too, like, so positive.
Yeah.
Like, very positive. It honestly, even though it can get kind of crazy, it still is, like, it's a safe, like, culture.
Yeah.
Like, they're not trying to just, like, hurt you or be harmful to you.
That's just part of going to a heavy concert.
It's just, that's the expectation. But I think for me, the reason why I loved seeing them the first time was that it was just seeing them live for the first time, because we had been watching their videos online, like on YouTube from other concerts, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
That might have been our first heavy show after like stuff opened up some more.
Yes, you're right.
Too.
Yeah.
So I had all that pent up energy. I was ready to get it out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that was the hard part for us, is that, during the pandemic, we didn't get to experience live music, but Need to Breathe did put out like a concert you could experience
they did like
online.
A studio session.
Yeah.
And they played a full set. And so like we paid for access to that because we support artists or whatever, you don't need to steal their stuff.
Yeah.
But I did invite a bunch of friends, and we didn't watch it in our home.
No.
I have the keys to our church.
Yeah.
We're the assistant pastors there. And so we go to the church. I set all the lights, turn them on to where there's atmosphere in the room, and pull the projector down, and I think we even had pizza or something.
Yeah, we had pizza, yeah. Of course.
But we watched Need to Breathe like it was a concert with just some close friends of ours that also enjoy Need to Breathe. And I would say, like, I'll cherish that memory too, because that was cool. Like, we weren't supposed to be in big crowds or anything like that, so it was just a small group.
Yeah.
But,
I think that's one of the neatest things about, going to concerts is not only just creating, like, those memories with each other, but then with our friends that also enjoy the same music we do.
Oh, yeah. I have a buddy that I introduced Need to Breathe to, and he's married now. And I made him such a big super fan that he then shared that with his girlfriend, who became his fiance, and he got married. And at his wedding, which kudos to them, because I'm too lazy to do this, but they had a dance that they choreographed to a Need to Breathe song because they're such big fans, and it's a great song. It's Banks by Need to Breathe.
Yeah, I love that
if
song.
you haven't heard it, you don't love your wife. If you have heard it, maybe you'll love her a little better. Anyways,
There you go.
So just seeing the influence of that, because my buddy, he doesn't listen to heavy music. He listens to like old country, not modern country, not red dirt, old country.
Okay.
So just kind of getting to share that influence and enjoy a thing with people.
Yeah, we've made a lot of really good memories. Even, when we got to go see the Jonas Brothers, our nephews ended up going, and so did our sister-in-law, and that was so much fun.
Great musicianship.
Yeah.
I didn't know like any of the songs.
No.
But that was okay. Like, I still got to enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah.
If you have an opportunity to see live music, go see live music.
Yeah, that's a point I wanted to make too. Like, for us, we almost always say yes. If there's an opportunity for us to be able to go see a band, even if we don't even really know them, we still try to go.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a few songs that we like, and even for like Young the Giant, they're a band that we've liked. I mean, I don't know all their songs, but
they played a lot of the one. I don't think they played maybe but like 2 songs that we didn't.
Yes, true. But I remember, your brother Dell had told us, hey, if you get the opportunity to see this band, you got to go.
We skipped church to see them.
We did. I know.
It was Wednesday.
It was
church.
a Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday church. I know.
No, I would say so. My brother and I went and saw Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
That's why we went. But they were opening for Slipknot.
Yeah.
I'm not a Slipknot fan. I know Slipknot songs, but I'm not a Slipknot fan. I've seen Slipknot live now, and I can still safely say I'm not a Slipknot fan. But they put on one of the best dadgum shows.
Their production was nuts.
Yeah, their production was nuts. They're really tight. Their current drummer is filthy. He's the son of the drummer from Bruce Springsteen. So like,
that's cool.
There's legacy there. So like, it's in his veins, and he's just gonna do it, and he does it well. So
I was not there for that.
No, I couldn't have paid you to go to that.
No, yeah, that's just, no, not my thing. But that's the cool part, though, is that, you know, even if you're going to some of these concerts where you may not know every artist that's going to be there, or maybe you're not even going there to see, you know, the main band playing, you know, you end up still being able to appreciate it because, like, you're seeing just the technicality, you're seeing, you know, the skill level, and too, just like the excitement of the crowd.
Yeah.
Right? It's just cool to experience. I love live music.
Yeah. If you have a chance to see live music, go see live music. If it's a little cover band somewhere, honestly, go see it.
Yeah.
Because there's a good chance they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the local ones around here is called the Take Cover Band.
Mm-hmm.
They did a private birthday party for our sister-in-law, Amanda, which we were there for. And they were taking requests, and, like, I was naming off all the songs.
Yeah, you were. You're trying to put them to the test.
Oh, yeah. I was doing my best to stump them, and I couldn't.
Nope. They did it. They did an insane Garth Brooks, like, medley. Yeah, they did all kinds of stuff. It was so good.
They played Smash Mouth. If that's not range...
Did you say Spash Mouth?
I might have. For those who don't know, we're recording this one at like 10 o'clock at night. Smash Mouth. They played All Star because we asked like 5 times, so they finally did.
They gave in.
They played country, they played rock and roll, they played pop.
Yeah.
They played everything. Yeah. 90s, 80s, country.
Yeah, they did a great job. It was a lot of fun.
So if you have a chance to go to a concert, if you are wondering if this is your thing, if you like to sing as loud as you possibly can to the radio, it's 10 times better at a concert.
Yes. Just say yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about concerts with me. It's been a lot of fun.
I had a great time, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, I'll be back. Hey, this is Britnell. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of A Little Passionate. With my wife, Brittany, you won. The prize is yours. You've made it. You've achieved it. Now, give her a follow and keep tuning in. Thanks, y'all.